So my grady topic as it stands right now is going to be about manipulation versus persuasion, specifically with like sales, whether that be like an actual object trying to sell someone something or an idea that you want to get across. And which one, the persuasion versus manipulation, is more successful, which one's more ethical, what's right and wrong, what you can do better, and how you can avoid being manipulated or persuaded into something that you do not want to have, right? Like an idea you do not want, something you don't want. So persuasion, when I think about it, is more like learning information about your targeted demographic, right? Like learning stuff you want to know about them so you can use that to try to get them to believe you or to buy what you are trying to sell them. And taking their interests and kind of forming it to fit what you are trying to give off. Does that make sense? Right? So you're trying to sell them what they want, because it turns out that works better. Rather than manipulation, which could be, it's like very similar. You still find out information, you still find out interests, but you could leave things out maybe that could potentially, you could leave the bad things out. You could make it sound like this perfect idea or this perfect thing that nothing could ever be wrong with, when in reality it's not. You could lie, you could, use emotions against this person, and that's usually used in self-gain. And the argument of my grady will be why manipulation is not ethical and can be harmful when trying to sell an idea or thing rather than persuasion. And I think that it would work less. And an example of that is because people who use persuasion to sell things oftentimes have a more long-lasting relationship with their customers or, the person that you're selling their idea to, rather than somebody who manipulates. You'll see that like a stockbroker, right? He makes money no matter what if you use him to buy stocks through you, right? He makes money no matter what. If you lose money, he still makes money. But he doesn't want to just make money and make you lose money, because then you'll stop using him as a stockbroker. So he wants to build that trust, that foundation with you, so you can keep using him, and then you both make money and you're both happy, right? So I want to go into tactics that both sides use, and like I said, argue more towards manipulation being malintended, gross, bad, something that we don't want in this world. And a solid example of manipulation would be our president using fear to sell the idea that all immigrants are horrible and that we need to build a wall and that everything is awful. And that's really what he used to sell his campaign, I think, was manipulation of people's fear and anger and twisting it into making them go out and vote for him, right? Making them see him as a stronger candidate. So if you think about it, everybody in this room has been the target of manipulation, whether that's like good, bad, significant, or not. Everybody in this room has been the target of that, even if that's just like some simple guilt tripping to make you do something you don't want to, like dish crew, right? Probably everybody's maybe subbed the dish crew here, like I subbed your dish crew, you gotta sub mine, like stuff like that. That's not big, that doesn't really matter, but other stuff can. So I want to expose this and help people understand when they're being talked into buying something that they don't want, or an idea that they do not want to have, or that is wrong, that won't be in their best interest. And then on the flip side of that, I'm going to show safe and effective ways to sell something to someone, whether that be an idea or object. Yeah. Any questions? Malaya.
Is this like focusing on like businesses and like how people are like selling like physical things, or is it like everything?
So I gave examples of physical, like money, and then ideas. I don't really know. I actually figured out what I was going to write about last night at like 8 o'clock. So this is all very brand new to me. But I would be using examples from selling actual things, because I've done a lot of that, and I've been on both sides of this. I've definitely manipulated a lot of people to buying things that they did not really want. And I feel bad about that, right? So I want to try to make amends and showed people not to do that and to not be convinced by that.
So do you think the manipulation is necessary to sell things well?
Absolutely not. I think, like I said, persuasion I think can be more useful when trying in the long run. Like I have like with what I did with my little business, I had clients who I could always count on, who I could always give what I was selling to them, and they'd be like, hey, yeah, I really like that, I want to buy it, or no. Rather than if I talked this kid into buying something from me and he didn't like it and it was bad, right? And I told him it was the best thing in the world and he had to buy it and it's so amazing and it's going to make your life 1,000,000 times better, and he didn't like it, that kid will not buy from me again. Rather than the other people that I just persuaded because I knew they really wanted it, but you just got to kind of show them why they really want it. And that's what's important. Luke?
Is there bad manipulation or good manipulation?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like everybody in the room has been the target of manipulation. Usually it has a connotation of like negative stuff, and that's what I see manipulation as, and that's why in this paper I'm going to be arguing why manipulation is unethical to use when trying to sell something or an idea. So that's my argument, but I don't know, like I feel like it'd be hard to justify manipulation as something good. Like the only, I would see like, you know, manipulating something for the greater good, like they'll understand later it'll be for them, you know, but I don't think that's justification. I don't see how you could really justify manipulating somebody's emotions or how they feel to your benefit as a good thing.
What about if it's to their benefit?
Give me an example, Luke. How could you manipulate something to their benefit if you didn't have personal gain?
I mean,
why would you do that too?
You will manipulate somebody to do something that's benefit him and less money.
So if you have to do that, right? So I think that you're also getting something out of that too. I think you would be feeling better about yourself by getting this person to do something that you think would be better for them, right? Even if it is, it would still be you feeling like a better person to get them to do this. So you still have personal gain out of that.
And I was gonna say an example of that it's like your parents telling you they work so hard for you, then you're not trying your best, then you end up trying your best. Isn't it like for your benefit if you try?
They're not really manipulating. They're telling you the truth. They worked hard for you to get here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you should try your best. And if I was your mom, I'd expect A's. That's all I'm gonna say.
It's just an example, but yeah.
Oh man. Oh god. Oh god. All right. Anything else for Ari? Oh gosh. I feel so conflicted about this case.
Ooh, tell me why, dude.
I don't know what I feel like. I don't know. I feel like I'm just like a plaything in your hands.
That's what when dude last year me and or what 2 years ago, me, Neelan, Joe Vilick, and Josh all sat down in a room and just talked about manipulation for like 5 hours. And at the end of the day, we were all like scared. Like I thought Phineas and Cynthia were trying to get in my head and like mess with me and like make me do things I didn't want to do. But then I like took a step back. I'm like, wait, that's really stupid. Like that's not what's happening at all. At the same time, you know, there are manipulation tactics like in the classroom that doesn't really hurt anybody, just to like control the classroom, and that's what teachers are taught. Like Benjamin, if you remember him, he was really good at that. But it's not I'm not like trying to make people like be afraid of things getting in their head. It's just like when somebody's trying to sell you something, it's probably for personal gain. They're probably getting something out of it, and that's why they would push so hard for it. Like all those telemarketing calls, like your computer is at risk. Can you get to your computer and like share your bank account information with me? You know, like, yeah, dude, I was talking to one the other day and I just answered his questions, went along with it because I thought it was funny. And he was like, yeah, did you know that your computer is at risk? And it's definitely targeting like older or kind of dumber people, right? Like, if you know what you're doing on a computer, you know that you're not going to get a call from New York telling you that your computer's at risk and that people are trying to access it.
But what they're doing now is using your own area code. So
I know. I got a call from my own number.
Me too.
But I'm saying, that's targeting a specific group of people that might not understand that that's something that you don't want to do, or like, you know, elderly people, younger people that don't understand technology all that well. Like my grandma got a virus for clicking one of those, like, I think it was like a you win, or like a your computer's at risk, like download this, you know, and it gave her a virus. And because that's like targeting her, or, you know, people in that demographic. And that's kind of gross to me. I really hate that.
But you still have done it.
Well, yeah. I mean, everybody's done bad things. You've done bad things.
I don't think so. All right, any other questions for Ari? All right. All right. Thank you very much.
Look at that.